Hello dear students, welcome back again to Chinmoy's YouTube channel. So in the previous episode we have already discussed about the axial skeletal system. So in that we have discussed about the structure of the vertebra, we have discussed about the ribs and the sternum and obviously the spinal cord or the vertebral column. Now today we are going to discuss about the appendicular skeletal system. So those who have not yet gone through those uh, structures and functions of ribs, sternum and vertebra, please I'm putting the link above and I'm also putting the link in the description box. Go through it, then it will be easier for you to understand this lesson. So let us proceed with today's lesson. So what are the learning objectives of this lesson? So at the end of this lesson, we will be knowing or understanding that what is the appendicular skeletal system. So we will be able to define that and we will be discuss about that. About the pectoral girdle, we will be able to tell about what are the bones present in the forelimbs and how many in numbers. And we will be able to discuss about the bones of the hind limb as well as the pelvic girdle. So dear students, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because if you are subscribing to my channel, then only you will be knowing my updates when I am putting. And please do share it to your friends also, so that they can learn the lessons in a systematic manner. So let us start with today's lesson of appendicular skeletal system. Now, appendicular skeletal system, what does this term mean? Now, this term appendicular, here is the main thing, appendicular. So that means appended. So what is the term means appended? Appended means it is attached to. It means it is attached to. Appended means attached to. So these bones are attached to the axial skeletal system. So appendicular skeletal system, mainly it consists of how many bones? It consists of 126 bones. So out of which 4 bones are of pectoral girdle, 2 bones are of pelvic girdle, the forelimb or the arms is having 60 bones, and the hind limbs or the legs are having 60 bones. So this count you should remember, or you should rather memorize. So total appendicular skeletal system having 126 bones, 4 bones in pectoral girdle, pelvic girdle 2 bones, forelimb or arms is having 60 bones, and hind limbs or legs are having 60 bones. So let us move on to the details of each and every system. Now here we are with the pectoral girdle. So please look at the diagram and follow the diagram when I am teaching you. So the pectoral girdle, it consists of 2 bones, mainly the clavicle and the anterior clavicle and the posterior scapula. So where is the anterior clavicle here? This is the anterior clavicle and the posterior scapula. Okay, the pectoral girdle, what it is doing, it is attaching the bones of the upper extremities. Upper extremities means the arms. It is attaching the bones of the arms to the axial skeletal system. Okay, so through this clavicle and scapula, the bones of the arms, this is the arm, forearm. Okay, this arm bone is attached with the help of this clavicle and scapula to the axial skeletal system. Now the clavicles and the collarbone. So this is the collarbone. The clavicles and the collarbone, they are slender and they are doubly curved. You can see all the bones here are curved. They are slender and they are doubly curved long bones which are articulating with the sternum. They are joining, they are getting a curved structure. They are articulating with the sternum. Whereas the scapula articulates with the clavicle and the humerus. So we can say that the scapula, the clavicles and the collarbones are articulating with the sternum, whereas we can see that the scapula is articulating with the clavicle and the humerus. So it is articulating with the clavicle and that with the humerus. So see the diagram, is it clear to all? These 2 bones, main bones, the anterior clavicle and the posterior scapula, they are helping the appendages or the arm to join to the axial skeletal system. They are actually the clavicles and the collarbones, they are articulating to the sternum, and others are articulating, the scapula articulates with the humerus. So it's clear, pectoral girdle is clear to all, right? If you are having any doubts, please don't forget to ask in the comment box. that what are your queries, where you got stuck while studying. Go through your textbook, go through my videos so that it should be clear. And these points which I am writing, they are very important points. Please go through it and try to memorize with the diagram. Bones of the limbs. So bones of the limbs means the forelimb or the forearm. So how many bones are there? We have already told that there are forelimbs is having 60 bones. Okay, so 60 bones means 30 bones in each arm. So left arm 30, right arm 30. So let us see what is the division here. Now humerus. Humerus is only one. This full part is humerus. See the diagram when I am teaching. Please see the diagram when I am teaching so that it will be clear. Humerus is one. So humerus is having three parts: the head, the shaft and the trochlea. Is it clear? Then comes the ulna. This is the ulna. This is one. This part is the ulna. Then comes the radius. This part is the radius. It is also one. Then comes the carpals. Carpals are the wrist bones. Wrist bones, here there are 8 wrist bones. Then comes the palm bones, that is the metacarpals. Metacarpals are 5 in number. Here there are 5 in number palm bones. Then they are again subdivided into phalanges. Phalanges, there are 14 in number. So please do memorize. You can get a question: how many wrist bones or carpals are there? How many metacarpals are there? These are only short questions. How many phalanges are there? So this is for each arm. So if you are writing for both arms, you need to double. So total number in each arm is 30. Whereas when you are taking it for both the forearms, it is 60. So first comes the humerus 1, radius 1, ulna is 1, carpal or the wrist bones are 8, metacarpals are 5, phalanges is 14 and total in one arm is 30. So this is all about the forearm, one forearm. So is it clear to everyone? I think I have done it in a very short and systematic way so that it is clear to you. And please learn this diagram with labeling, then only you will understand and you'll remember. And you write if you want to learn in this diagram itself, you can write ulna 1, that is, we can say that carpals 8, metacarpals 5, phalanges 14. In this diagram itself, you can learn and write and learn. Radius 1, humerus 1, like this you write in the diagram and memorize the diagram. Okay, now let us move on to the next one. Now here comes the lower extremity or the hind limb. So hind limb, also see the diagram. We can see that hind limb is also divided into various different bones. So what are the bones? First comes the thigh bone, or which is the toughest bone in the body, the femur. Then comes the patella. Patella is also one. Here in the knee comes the patella. Then comes tibia or the leg bone which is going towards the toe. That is also one. Then again comes the tarsal or the ankle bone. This is the tarsal. This is the ankle bone. This is 7 in number. So how many tarsals or ankle bones are there? There are 7 in number. Then there in the forearm, remember we have studied about the metacarpals, carpals and metacarpals. Here that name has been changed and given tarsals and metatarsals. So this tarsal and metatarsal, the same thing was there as carpal and metacarpal. So is it clear? So the same thing was there in the forearm as carpal and metacarpal. When it comes down to the lower extremity of the limb, it has been changed into tarsals and metatarsals. So metatarsals or feet bone is 5 in number. Tarsal or the ankle bone is 7 in number. Phalanges, there also in the hand or the forearm there were 14 phalanges. Here also there are 14 phalanges. So the total count here in the leg bone is also 30. So for both the legs it will be 60. So femur 1, patella 1, tibia or the leg bone 1, fibula 1, this is the fibula or the feeble bone. Why it is named as fibula? This is the feeble bone. It is the weak bone. So tibia is a very strong bone, or the thigh bone is a very strong bone, whereas fibula is a feeble bone. As it is feeble, as it is thin, it is called fibula. Then comes tarsal. Then comes metatarsal, phalanges, and the total count comes to 30. Now this is all about, we have completed first the pectoral girdle, then we have completed about the bones of the forelimb, then bones of the hind limb. Now we are jumping or moving into the last part. Now in the last slide, pelvic girdle, here we are going to discuss about how many bones this pelvic girdle consists of. Now first we can see the two main bones of pelvic girdle are the coxal bones and the hip bones. Now this coxal bone and hip bones, they are joined medially to the sacrum. So this is the coccyx and this is the sacrum. And the hip bone and the coxal bones, they are joined to the sacrum. Now this pelvic girdle, what is it doing? It is attaching the lower limbs to the axial skeletal system. So this part full is attaching the lower limbs to the axial skeletal system, and it is helping us to transmit the weight of the upper body to the lower body and supports the visceral organs. So what is the visceral organ of the pelvis? The visceral organs are the internal delicate organ, that is the reproductive organs are there. So the visceral organs is being supported by the pelvis. So the visceral organs are what? They are the internal delicate organs. So the internal delicate organs are being supported by this pelvic girdle. So internal delicate organs of the pelvis are being supported. We can see that there are reproductive organs. So they are being supported by this pelvic system. Now we can say that there is a difference between the women's pelvic girdle and men's, because the pelvic girdle in women is quite wider than that of the male. Because and the sit bones are further apart as they allow the childbirth. So this pelvis or the pelvic girdle is playing an important role. The bone arrangement is different in females because they are allowing the childbirth. So it is different. So we have told that they are allowing, supporting the lower body and they are helping the lower body or the lower body to get the support from the upper body weight. So it is transmitting the weight of the upper body to the lower limb and it is supporting the internal organs or the visceral organs. So these bone structure also, as we all know, that it varies from male to female. So this is all about the appendicular skeletal system. This is very small. This is very in a lucid systematic manner I have told you. So please don't forget to subscribe to my channel to get these updates and you just go through the diagrams as well as the points I have discussed in each and every slide or video. So I have tried my best to give you a gist notes of each and every point or topic which is covered in your syllabus or curriculum. Now let us mention the last two things. What is the smallest bone in our body? That is the smallest bone is the stapes, which is present in the middle ear. It is the smallest bone which is present in the middle ear. And what is the toughest bone? That we can say that the longest bone in the human body is femur. It is the longest bone. And which one is the strongest bone? We can say that tibia is the strongest bone. And fibula, it is the feeble bone. Tibia is the strongest bone. So the smallest bone is the stapes, which is present in the middle ear. Femur is the longest bone and tibia is the strongest bone. So this is all about the appendicular skeletal system. In just with the diagram, with the label diagram, go through all these diagrams, how I have given with the labeling. Like that only you should learn, and how many in numbers each bone is present in the forearms as well as in the hind limb or hind limb, whatever you say. They are present in how many numbers, you should learn them. So as of now, this episode of this lesson is completed. So next I am coming up with the joints, that is classification of joint, and depending on the functions as well as on the structure, that is structural and functional classification of joints. So go through it, subscribe my channel, and please don't forget to like and share. Thank you.